Whoa. Wait, you guys, first of all, you guys deserve it. You guys deserve it. Thank you for having us. Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here. Good morning, Cleveland. You deserve to celebrate the way you did. It's been a long time. So thank you so much for having us. I'm Carrie Champion. That is Skip Bayless, and that is Stephen A. Smith. So welcome to First Take, y'all.
Yeah, and by the way, I think Iman Shumpert just might have a second career. I thought that was pretty good.
I already know he does. He blessed. Did you guys hear that open?
Did you hear it?
Was that open? He blessed the mic for us.
Are you not impressed?
I thought it was nice.
He was
Oh, God, Stephen A.
You know, I don't appreciate him putting in the, video how I was wearing the Cowboys jersey.
Yeah.
That's a different subject.
Well, how about me having to wear that Mayweather garbage hat?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, listen, the difference is that my Cowboys jersey, I honored the full bet.
You did. You did it for the 2 hours of the show.
Right.
We just want to say, seriously, Iman Shumpert, thank you so much for doing that. He's a fan of the show. Wanted to do that special open for us. If you guys want to check it out at home, you can go to any of our social media pages, and there you can find it. Again, thank you so much, Iman, for doing that. Shall we get the show started? Y'all ready? On the show today, we will have Rockets guard Corey Brewer. He will join the desk. He'll talk some sports. He'll break it all down with us, who he thinks will win the chip. But first, let's talk about LeBron James, shall we? It was almost a year ago that he decided to return to Cleveland. And now we are here today going after a title. That's amazing. There's been a lot of history between LeBron and obviously this city. And we want to discuss how in the world we got here today. We know the fact that people were upset when he left about 5 years ago. Stephen A., you can see that there. We're showing the video of what happened. He returned, and now he's competing for a title for this city. So I'll start with you first, Skip Bayless. How surprised are you that we are here today?
5 years almost.
Yeah.
Here is surreal to me. And obviously, I have long been viewed as a LeBron critic. Now, I think I've only been objective and honest about your man, LeBron James, and that will not be different today. I will continue to stand by the courage of my convictions. But I'm here to ask some of you in this crowd, did you turn on LeBron 5 years ago? Did anybody burn jerseys in this crowd today? Oh, we got a couple. We got a couple. Thank you. Thank you for not being hypocritical, because the day after that decision was made, taking his talents to South Beach, we got calls. We had a couple of radio guys on our show at that point. You weren't on yet, obviously, with me as my full-time partner. And the radio guys said to me on the air, on live, on First Take, hey, Skip, would you move to Cleveland because you could be elected mayor of Cleveland today because so many people were so upset with LeBron James. Now, I am not here to blame you for falling back in love with this man, because you should fall back in love with him, because he is giving you a legit shot to win your first championship here in Cleveland since the great Jim Brown retired back in 1965-66. So I'm good to go with that. But when I look at the scope of this, when I look at what LeBron has brought back to you in the wake of what your owner did to him that night and the following day, it is just incomprehensible to me. And I'm just going to hit a couple of the lowlights. Remember, out of anger, your owner, Dan Gilbert, posted on your team's website that night a letter, sort of an open letter to you fans, calling LeBron James our former hero. He deserted us. He betrayed us. Again, this was written out of anger of the moment. Maybe it's a don't hit sin moment from Coach Edwards.
Yes,
that he
it is.
Herman. Dan Gilbert said, he called him a narcissistic, self-promotional buildup that he put on our network, on ESPN. And then in an interview the next day, he accused LeBron of quitting in that series against Boston. Not only in Game 5, but he said in Games 2, 4, and 6, LeBron quit. He also accused him of quitting in the previous year's series against Orlando, the 09 series, after he hit the shot heard around the world that won Game 2 here, as you guys remember. And he said it was a performance unlike we've ever seen from any superstar in the history of sports. Now, that was Dan Gilbert about 5 years ago. And we have come full circle to this. And my only problem with LeBron, I did not blame him for leaving, because at that point in his development, his maturation, he felt like he needed to join forces with Dwayne Wade and obviously Chris Bosh, but mostly Dwayne, who taught LeBron how to win. I thought LeBron grew up under D. Wade. played. And he's brought all that back to you now, because the job he's doing with what's left of his basketball team is highly impressive to me. And I've complimented him repeatedly on his maturation to this point, his leadership that he's bringing to this basketball team. We'll talk about this later. He is coaching this basketball team. He is the unofficial head coach. But what the problem I had that night of the decision was that LeBron had so much animosity toward Dan Gilbert that he let it influence his presentation that night. He showed no remorse. He showed no gratitude to you folks who have stood behind him through thick and thin from day one here in Cleveland. And I thought if LeBron had only said, hey, I need to do this for me personally, but I love all y'all and I appreciate all that you've given to me, it would have been so much different then. But he didn't. He burned the bridge just the way Dan Gilbert burned the other side of a bridge that I can't really believe has been rebuilt to this moment. And I appreciate it, and I'm from my heart, I am genuinely happy for you that you have him back and you have a legitimate shot, even as we speak right now, to win this NBA Finals, even with the team you have left. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, out of fairness and respect to LeBron James, we have to tell the complete story, because the reality is that LeBron James never viewed himself as leaving the fans of Cleveland. He never had a problem with the city of Cleveland. He never had a problem with the fan base for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
How could he?
He left. He left because Dan Gilbert and the Cleveland Cavaliers organization didn't do a good enough job of literally insulating him from some of the nonsense that was transpiring within the confines of the organization. And when you look at when he decided to depart from Cleveland, it wasn't just to go and learn how to win with Dwayne Wade. It was the mindset, the mentality. All right, what is this Cavaliers organization all about? What is Dan Gilbert all about? What is the GM you have in place at the time all about? What is the head coach all about? The players that you surround him with. You know, we heard a lot of stories coming out of the Cleveland Cavaliers organization about stuff pertaining to LeBron James' personal business, involving his family members, involving his crew, whether it was Rich, Randy, or Maverick, and the list went on and on. And so when you've got all of that stuff going on, let that be a lesson to us all.
Okay, that you're saying that Dan Gilbert didn't treat them right?
No. I'm not accusing him of that. I'm saying that the stuff that was going on in the organization, when you have a resident superstar, a franchise caliber player who is homegrown, you have to protect him from that nonsense. You have to put everybody on notice that anything that perturbs him is going to perturb you, and heads are going to roll if you mess with this man. They got to a point where that was not the case within the Cleveland Cavaliers organization. Too much nonsense was disseminating out of the Cavs organization about this man. Here is the guy who's the face of your franchise. He grew up 30 minutes away in Akron, Ohio. You know, he's homegrown. He's here for you, and he wasn't protected enough. And so because of that, things became a distraction.
Protected how?
Well, protected from the standpoint, again, nonsense will not be tolerated. This is our franchise player. We don't want to hear you talking about him. We don't want to hear stuff about his personal business. We don't want to hear stuff about his family, his friends, etc., etc. And LeBron's a big boy. He can handle all of that stuff, but at the same time, why deal with it if you don't have to? And I think that when he ultimately elected to depart for South Beach, he never, ever quantified the collateral impact that would take place, the residue that would be left behind, how this local economy, businesses, and beyond would be so incredibly detrimentally affected by his departure. When you see people in the streets of Cleveland wondering what was going to happen to them now, when you saw this whole northeast area of Ohio wondering, where do we go from here? Where you see people losing jobs, where you see businesses going out of business. The list went on and on. And when you are a guy as sensitive, and LeBron James is far from perfect, but I think it's safe to say that he really, really loves this city, and he loves the people here in this area. They mean a lot to him. And I don't think he ever quantified the collateral impact that his departure would have. But once you decide to leave, you're stuck with your decision. You decided to go. You signed on with Miami. You were going to commit there for 4 years to take your talents to South Beach, and what's done is done. And then you go to Miami Miami. And then all of a sudden, it's Pat Riley's town. And even though Pat Riley is the winner within, and he's got the rings and the pedigree and all of that stuff, you know, the fact is that if you're LeBron James, even though you're a star, you may have been treated relatively differently than a lot of other people, which is predictable. At the same time, were you ever treated like the star you thought you deserved to be treated like in terms of perks and things of that nature? Some would argue that didn't transpire.
In Miami.
And then in Miami.
Yes, I agree.
Then all of a sudden, you realize how much you missed home.
Yep.
So coming home, what does that require? Do you really think for 1 second, LeBron James is a forgiving soul? Do you think he's forgotten what Dan Gilbert said and what he wrote?
Better not have.
Hell no.
Yeah.
He didn't forget. Okay, he remembers. He remembers. But LeBron's return has never been about Dan Gilbert. It has been about these fans in this room. It's been about the fans in this city. It's been about this area. That's why he's back. Dan Gilbert is just a necessary evil to facilitate it transpiring. But by no means do you see LeBron James remotely concerned about Dan Gilbert. He's not back because of Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert just happens to own the team in the area.
So my bottom line is, it appears to me LeBron James is merely, bless you, coexisting with this owner now.
Well, I think that's a kind word.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you. I
Okay.
mean, I'll say it. I mean, he won't, because that ain't LeBron's style.
Wow.
But I'm here to tell you, coexisting is a kind word. Dan Gilbert knows. Dan Gilbert's the luckiest man of 2015. If there was such a category, I mean, it would apply to him. He's the luckiest man of the year.
So he returned in spite of Dan Gilbert.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Bottom line.
Absolutely.